You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?
Hello. Are we back? Can y'all hear me? I hope so. So I have a game to unbox. I know you all have been missing this. So the game is Echo already? Oh, perfect. Cool. Well, while the gremlins behind the scenes try to fix this, I'm going to talk about this sweet new game apiary. It's Space Bees. It's the new game from Stonemaier. It's got an interesting worker placement aspect. And I think it may be destined to be my second favorite B game after Honey Buzz, of course. Which also it was designed by our friend Paul Solomon, who lives in St. Louis. This comes from Stonemaier, which is also based out of St. Louis. Are people from St. Louis just like obsessed with bees? Or do you think like one was copying off of the other? I don't know. Anyway, so this is the game we're going to unbox while Ryan tries to fix whatever technical aspects we have going on in the back. So it's got these really cool like boards and things, but the best part is it's got these sweet little bees. So I love them. They are adorable. They are space bees. I don't think the camera can get these very well. But they are really, really cool. And they're numbered. I know. I actually opened the box. Isn't it spectacular? This is what happens when Ryan breaks something. He has to fix it. And then I get time to actually mess with the game that I brought. My favorite, though, is there is like a giant, like, queen figure. This bad boy. Or girl, I should say. Yeah. Anyway, they're really nice, chunky, like quality plastic. So it's really cool. I've seen some people take some of these little bee figures and little paint to sort of highlight
He's so
the
big.
numbers on them.
Hi, Al.
Hello! Are we fixed?
I think we're fixed.
Okay.
I think what was happening was Video Ninja was choosing my speakers as my output, even though I don't have any. It was choosing the microphone as the output, which made it come through you for whatever reason.
Ah.
And now I just need to remove all of these things because I've made you big. We shouldn't have cursed ourselves. I've made you big, and now I can't make you small again without. Anyway, here we go. I think people
Listen,
should
I've heard that many times. I've made myself big many times, and no matter what the doctor says, I cannot make myself any smaller.
Well, I think people probably don't realize how close they were to not even having a show. So,
oh yeah, no.
there we go. we're all back to the same side, and the slide deck has popped up. Fantastic. Oh dear, this is Adam must be spinning in his whatever he's sitting in right now because that probably exceeds. And I prepped so hard to make this.
I told you, you put in that much effort, and bad things will happen.
I lost
Our best shows are when we like are flying by the seat of our pants and have no idea what we're doing.
So for anyone watching, I lost my D drive about 15 minutes before the show, and it showed up about 5 minutes later, and I was in a huge panic. So there we go. That's well, we exist. It's working, I think. I guess we should probably talk a little bit, Al, about Dodgeball, right? Like maybe.
I mean, I guess that there was like a lot of dodgeball this like past week, though. I'm almost like it's the start of the season. I'm already almost dodgeballed out. I mean, there was one match that lasted like forever.
Right. I do need to. Apparently, I got to bring this up now so that I can interact. Who knew? Who? All right. Can I slideshow this now, please? Only the finest. Oh my god. Oh, please wait a moment while we fix this.
Is Cranky talking about my face or your face?
I can't even see what he's saying at the moment. I'm trying to. Yeah, has anyone acknowledged Ryan's amazing mustache? Probably not. Least of all, my wife.
I have a question. Does it go like all like? Does it link back up with the sideburns?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, it does. All right. So let's, I guess, try this again. Well, now you want to work? Well, where's my... I think I'm going to have to change how I'm doing this. Usually, I load the slide deck in and then interact with it as a web browser thing, and I can do that from OBS. And today, apparently, that's not happening. So let me change all the shenanigans around.
Okay.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Is that gonna times with that now or not?
All these people are so excited they showed up early for the show.
Yeah, right. Sorry to disappoint.
All right, grab APA again.
No, you see that still. So what I'm gonna have to
So I showed the space bees. Then there's these really cool starting boards. And you can see they're sort of like a hive shape, and you're going to add onto them to make your own sort of like space hive, which is pretty cool. Let me see. Docking mats, hive bits. You know, I never actually planned to get the box open, let alone dig into the game. So anyway. Oh, Lisa's here, and she's discovered our terribleness.
It really has. Like, I don't. Apparently, yes, I'm.
Oh yeah, it's Liano's birthday?
Oh, is it his birthday? I was going to say it can't be as old as I'm feeling right now, trying to interact with technology on this stream. This is pitiful. Well, happy birthday!
How old is he?
How old is the cat man? Like, surely can't be that old. Happy birthday! No one's as old as you, Grandma. This is the part of the show. If anybody forgot to grab a beverage
before the show started, this might be a good time.
So painful. I mean, we could talk, or you could talk about the draft hour while I'm trying to do this and just see, if there are any surprises, or like what was fun about the draft for you?
Let's see. Fun about the draft. I thought it was neat that we've had an influx of Hero Realms players. I think that's the sort of story from the draft. I think it was also interesting how quickly they were like snatched up by teams. I think my captain, Tim, who's very prominent in the Hero Realms community, thought he would just sort of waltz in and snatch up all those Hero Realms players, and then realized other people from Star Realms play Hero Realms too and knew who they were, and drafted them pretty quickly.
That was pretty cool.
So that was interesting. Other interesting things from the draft. Looking at the teams afterwards, there didn't seem to be any sort of like clear, like, I don't want to say like winners and losers, but there didn't seem to be like a team that looked like it might run away with the season. They all seemed pretty balanced, at least from a draft perspective to start. I mean, with that said, we've seen really, really good-looking teams underperform. We've seen teams that you were sort of surprised about doing really well. You can never count out the rookie factor. So it'll be interesting to see how the season unfolds. And if we have, I mean, last season we had sort of two teams that were just sort of running away with it. So we'll see if we have more parity this season. So that'll be interesting to watch. But at least from a draft perspective, it didn't look like there was any one team that could just like run away with it.
Yeah,
which is nice. We want competition. Let's see what else happened in the draft. Also, Carissa's song was just great. The fact that she is now working with, like, Cranky is coming up with songs and she is singing them, like that might be my favorite part of Dodgeball anymore. Like, the playing games is just details. I'm like, let's just, have songs and stuff about Dodgeball.
let's just listen to all of the creativity around Dodgeball.
Yeah.
You would think that this would have given me enough time, wouldn't you? You would think, but apparently not. All right, let's try one last thing.
Okay.
Why doesn't that? Sorry, usually in OBS you can capture what you're looking at, like your desktop. You can see what you see. Ends up looking like this cascade of mirrors going down into an endless void because you're looking at OBS, looking at OBS, looking at OBS. It's not even.
So you can't get into the endless void.
Yeah, I don't. This is very strange. So that's all fine. You can go get hooped. That's fine. I'm so confused.
That's okay. It just means like you're one of our viewers.
Right? And those puss wines are...
Should I go get another board game?
You know what? You might need to.
All right. Oh, you know what? I got one right back here. So, this is the game that I'm currently obsessed with, which is Ark Nova. It is sweet. I think I did an unboxing of this last season, maybe 2 seasons ago. But I recently got the expansion for it, which is really, really cool. It introduces aquarium animals, which adds just a really interesting new mechanic. But I will say the expansion, the expansion is like $30. Which is not cheap for an expansion. So what they did was they added some extra tokens and bits to make it, I'm not going to say it was worth $30, but it definitely made it easier. So for any people who have played Ark Nova, you know that when you're playing, you usually use these little like cubes to mark your stuff. But with the new expansion, if you're yellow, you get a little monkey meeple to mark your areas, which is pretty cool. So with yellow, you get monkeys. With red, you get cats. With blue, you get fish. And then my personal favorite, well, I love the cats a lot in red, but black, you get penguins and even white little bellies, which is pretty awesome. But it also adds just a bunch more cards. There's also, strangely enough, so there's new iconography, and what they do is they make you replace some of the old cards with new cards. Same like card, only it adds the new iconography to make it a little sort of clearer and seamless. But while we're here, I mean, the game comes with a ton of cards anyway, but it adds like a new animal type, which is the like aquarium sea things, and it has the little sort of like octopus symbol. Let me see if I can find some of the new. So here's an example of a card that was replaced. So originally, the sea turtle tank only had the like reptile icon. So now they've added the new fish icon or squid icon onto it. So this was a card that you had to go through and replace. So once you sort of integrate the expansion in, it's sort of just like in there, and it's a real pain to like take it out. But at the same time, I really, really like the expansion, and I don't think I want to play without it anymore if I don't have to. So anyway, here are some of the new animal cards. They're like fish. You can build like aquariums, but they have this interesting new mechanic where you see they're like a reef dweller, and it has like a little picture of a reef, and it has a bonus. So when I play this fish, I gain 2 extra appeal tickets to my zoo. But then when I add the sea anemone, it also has a reef ability. And when I trigger that reef ability when I play it, I also get this reef ability too. So you can start stacking combo abilities, which is an interesting sort of new advantage to the expansion, which is pretty cool. So it has some new mechanics, but it still has the same overall gameplay. They didn't like break any of that, so it's a real, I'd say, like a seamless integration. And honestly, like just the cute meeples are really awesome. So highly suggest. But like I said, once you buy it, just sort of like add it to your original box. It'll all fit, and just you'll have to remove some of the old bits and the old cards. And I just put them in the expansion box just to keep them if I ever wanted to separate them out. But it's just, it fits really easily into the new box. You also get another like thing with all the new sort of glossary and pictures for all the new mechanics and the new iconography that they've added. It's pretty cool. Like I said, the $30 price tag is a bit hefty, but since getting the expansion, I've already played. It's getting to be where I'm playing this game. When my friend comes over, we get together once a week to play like new games that we've gotten. And the past 3 weeks, we have abandoned that and just keep playing Ark Nova over and over again. So the expansion has really been worth it. But I can also see complaints about it being the expansion being the cost of another game, and you only just get some cards and some little bits and stuff. But anyway. But I'd say if you like Ark Nova, you're gonna love the expansion. If Ark Nova confuses you, play on Board Game Arena with me, and we'll figure it out together. I'm not gonna say I'm good at the game, but I love playing it.
Okay, I think I have a solution which is totally backwards, but apparently it seems to be working.
We got it fixed.
That fixed is a very strong word, Al.
I will say, as fixed as we're able to things.
Yes. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So this is the standings as we're going to round what? No, why? Okay. This is the standings as we're going to round 1. Hopefully people can see that. If you can tell me in chat that you can actually see it, that would be great. It should be just a massive backdrop behind us with all the teams. I'm still waiting on someone saying literally anything. Standings are up. Okay, good. So here we go. So
All right.
In the draft board order, we've got The Great Catchby, we've got Murder on the Dodgeball Express, Catcherbury Tales, To Catch a Mockingbird, The Hit of the Baskervilles, Catcher and the Spry, Hitmaker's Guide to the Borloxy, Good Throwman's Crime and Punishment, Fellowship of the Fling, and Brain New World. And those are the teams that were drafted by those captains. And Al, I know it's always tempting to pick your favorite logo being your team, but is there any that really stand out to you? Because I tell you what, the Hit of the Baskervilles for me was really good. I really like.
I really love the Hit of the Baskervilles. That it might be my favorite logo. Now, I think Hitmaker's Guide to the Galaxy is good, but I might just be, because I'm a Douglas Adams fan.
For sure.
Same thing with Good Throwmans. I love that logo, but I also really love that book.
Fair.
One thing I'm going to point out is Catcherberry Tales actually has a little Easter egg on it. I don't know if anybody noticed.
And that's its second iteration as well, because there was one before that, which personally I loved.
But yeah, they're all good, but yeah, I think I might have to go with Baskervilles too. Brave New World, which I'm pretty sure my fat noggin is covering up, is pretty great too.
Yeah.
But that might also just be because I love the name Brave New World. I think that might be my favorite name.
Oh, your favorite team name?
The new season.
Yeah. It's a good one.
But as far as like logo goes, I mean, the dog with the suit and the dog, it's just great.
It's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Tea. Now, usually tea time would be an audio experience, Al. I'd just tell you about all the tea. But this time around, what I've done is I've thrown up some things. You should see them on the screen. I will for now remove Al and myself from here so that you can see in all its glory. So we've got at the top, while trying to guide rookies in our team chat, a certain Yeti who shall remain aimless, maybe even nameless, accidentally coined the phrase spice ass. What could it possibly mean? Though it's not clearly defined, it is peppered and there's just puns. So Yeti clearly being a spice ass in his chat. We've got a little section down on the left here, which is a team chat talking about traffic lights and trying to prove you're not a robot. Grandma famously speeding through a yellow light in Canada. Apparently yellow means stop in Canada, according to the RCMP, and not in fact speed up or slow down, just straight up stop. And then Brent felt a little betrayed by Chasmo drafting Alderin, who's 100% confirmed villain of the donuts. So he said, "You are all Alderinos now." There's a moon behind the dog. It had to go. Yeah. So that's the first slide. We've got another one, which is probably my favorite. This is very busy. We got two different bits of tea here. On the left hand side, we've got it's actually me down dressing Grandma for giving an award that she's not in charge of for a tournament that we weren't playing. To a player for a performance that doesn't even fall under the qualifying criteria. So she was handing out awards left, right, and center, and then someone pointed out that how dare I, get worked up about made up awards, which is also fair. So that was just a funny bit in Rogues. But then we've got Captain Chasmo. Apparently, his go-to when captaining Al is to bring in controversy into the chat. So he immediately, having been captain of Donut Stop Reviving, he initiated a conversation about how you pronounce Levi. And I think most people pronounce it Levi.
Well, that's the correct way, yes.
Right. So Chasmo apparently calls it Levy or Levy. Levy, I think maybe. I'm not 100% clear. There are about 3 different pronunciations coming out of this chat. So Crane Chat got on board with this. So it's Levy, Levi, and Levi. Someone clearly getting worked up about that particular pronunciation, claiming that Federation Battleship's nickname is Fred, because Fred is a name. Certain irony there, and I know I shouldn't make fun of misspellings, bearing in mind how bad my texting is, but my favorite part of all of this was when they decided they should have a safe word, and immediately the safe word was decided to be Levi. So, like, that's just... It's a bit different from the usual. Usually I just talk. I thought showing would be fun this week. So there we go. There's some tea, and we're on to Court 1. And apparently, there we go. We just had some display gremlins there, but we are back. Where's Al gone?
I'm here, or am I?
There we go. All right, Al's back. It's not a pair of pants. Oh my goodness. And they're all, how could you? It's they're all up in arms. So we've got Court 1 Al, we've got Fellowship of the Fling versus Hitmaker's Guide to the Borloxy, Penguin Army, Orc and Beans, the first picks of DG3 and Kincaid. Let's see what happens. Now again, usually we talk through this. Well, we're going to talk through it, Al, but with a little bit of help. So what we've got here is this is the position after all the races are finished. We've got Lex Neville, Serafina, Acox, Penguin Army, and Nadina, or Nadina, that pronunciation might elude me, in charge of bulls for the Fellowship, whilst Hitmakers, Cranky Day, and DG3 take bulls for their side. So it's a 5-2 split there, pretty commanding. And as we go into the next one, we can see we've had a couple throws going on. So Serafina's made a couple of misses there, or a couple of misses have been made against Serafina. But then we've got a hit on Serafina by Baggio 10, straight for the throat, with Lex Neville taking out Angry Panda and Cranky Day taking out Acox. So the first kind of five actions of the game moving pretty swiftly, and we can see also here, Al, that we've got the current throws out at this point in the game. This is patented Cranky technology. It's the Cranky replay, so we can kind of get it blow by blow. Baggio's at Viserys, BPB's at Acox. Cranky Day currently doesn't have a ball, having just knocked Angry Panda full in the face. Sturrock's out at Nadina, Nadina's out at Sturrock, and DG3's out at Lex Neville. So 4 balls in the air, 3 people already on the bench. Quite an exciting beginning as we move through to the next. Oh my goodness. There we go. And the next stop we make is Serafina catching, and why is this doing this to me? Serafina's catching and eliminating Bork. This follows DG3 being eliminated by Lex Neville, Angry Panda being eliminated by Kincaid, who'd been Serafina revived, Lex Neville eliminated by Bork and Beans, and then Bork and Beans eliminated by Serafina with a catch. So all of a sudden, if we go back there, we've gone. We missed a slide because it was glitching. So let's do that first. We did have Angry Panda revived when Baggio caught a Viserys throw. Cranky Day was eliminated by Lex, and BPB was eliminated by Kinky. So that left us with another body on the floor. And then as we move here, it's murder absolutely incarnate, with only Sturrock and Baggio alive for Hitmaker's Guide, while Fellowship only have Lex Neville and Acox down. Serafina having been revived by a catch from Lex Neville on Angry Panda. DG3 being eliminated, but also by Lex Neville, who was himself eliminated by Bork, who was himself eliminated by Serafina. So at the moment, Al, looking at this, we're on motion 33 of the game. You'd think Fellowship of the Fling were firmly in the driver's seat here, right?
Sure, because that's how things work out in Dodgeball.
Absolutely. So, moving on. We move another 9 balls forward into time, and lo and behold, Cranky Day's been revived by Baggio 10 from a catch from Vaselis again. And this is not getting old really quickly at all. Penguin Army was eliminated by Bork and Beans. We've then got some kind of tit for tat throws that aren't doing anything, but it's suddenly gone from 5-2 to 4-3. With Kinky. Kinky's got a ball out against Sturrock as the only ball in the air here. Moving on, though, he obviously caught that ball, reviving BPB, and then there's just been a whole lot of misses. So Serafina being the subject of Cranky Day throw, and then Baggio trying to hit Vaselis in the face, Vaselis trying to hit Baggio in the face, nothing doing. But it's now 4-on-4. So we've evened back up. And from motion 50 as we go to 59, as my computer does its best to decide that this is not the way to do things. Serafina is eliminated by Sturrock's throw. Acox being revived by Vaselis catching Baggio. Kinky and Baggio unable to connect in their game. Same with Acox and BPB. BPB, though, does take out Vaselis as Cranky Day catches Nadina and revives DG3, and Sturrock catches Vaselis and revives Angry Panda. And oh boy, all of a sudden, it's 6 against 3. So we've gone from 5-2 to 6-3, and this is the 59th action, which means I think that there have been 52 throws since race is finished. Which is pretty crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it doesn't end there.
Of course it doesn't.
Because we've got a big long section now, but Lex Neville is revived as Acox catches Sturrock, who missed Nadina previously. Acox and Cranky Day are in a bit of a spat, but then Lex Neville, having been revived, is immediately eliminated by Angry Panda. There's a little more tit for tat, mostly between Acox and BPB, and Cranky and Acox, but then Penguin Army is revived by Vaselis catching Angry Panda, before Sturrock and Angry Panda are both knocked out by Acox, a previous award winner in the hit department, I believe. So, after all that's said and done, it's now still 4 against 4, and we're on 74 actions for the game, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Because a particularly lethal section of play sees BPB take out Acox and Kinky, and then Bork and Beans get revived by Cranky catching Acox. Huge swing, and now it's 5 against 2 again, but the other way. Nadina and Penguin Army subject to Baggio 10's throws. Well, they won't connect, and it gets crazier, because Baggio misses those, but then gets out from Penguin Army's throw, who then catches Cranky Day's throw to revive Serafina. Sturrock getting revived by Cranky Day off Serafina's throw. Serafina then gets knocked out by BPB, who also takes out Penguin Army, and will go on to take out Vaselis later on, before DG3's capitulates to Penguin Army's throw, and there's a whole lot of shenanigans in between. Oh, and that, believe it or not, with 92 actions in the game, and a dead ball, which I don't think you can see here, but I think ball 3 was dead? Maybe Adam can confirm that in chat. I think, was it 4 records that were broken in this game, Adam? I know there was a whole bunch. This was a crazy game.
This is a season worth of dodgeball in one game.
Like, that L chart I had to cut up into little bits to kind of put in. Like, some people's games aren't even what you're seeing on the screen. Like, post throws, like, that's about how many hits took place, period. The game was just bananas, and it went on and on and on and on. Yeah, so there was definitely one dead ball. I thought there might have been a second one, maybe not quite. So many revives and catches. Once we've got through all of this, Al, and I don't know if anyone was following enough to see who got the hits and catches, but who's our MVP?
There were a lot of candidates because there's just a lot of stats in this.
Right.
in this game. Um, I I had a lot of people could have MVP. Like there were a couple people on their team who had more hits and catches than whole other teams. So, but I went with BPB just because he had 6 hits all on his own.
I'm sorry, it sounded like you
That's
said he had 6 hits all on his own.
6 hits on 10 throws.
And if I remember rightly, Al,
That's
of those 10 throws that weren't hits, he reclaimed the ball on the other 4, right?
yeah,
I'm pretty sure like 100% success rate on all
100%.
throws.
Like he won 100% of his
Yeah.
offensive games,
Bananas.
and of those 10 throws, 6 of them connected. It's ridiculous. Here's another fun stat. The other team, the Fellowship of the Fling, everybody on that team had at least 1 catch, except, and I can't believe I'm saying this, except Kincaid.
Kinky was the only one without a catchy.
Kincaid was the only one who didn't get a catch. And usually, if someone's like, oh, somebody got a catch on the other team, my first thought is, oh, it was probably Robert.
Yeah.
No, he was the only one. Right? Everyone else on his team, even Vaselis had a catch.
Even Vaselis. And yet,
and I can tell you, Vaselis had a 33% win percentage in that match. And he still was able to squeak out a catch.
Oh, so that's, I guess what we're saying is that Robert's going to have to dress in sackcloth and walk through his house with a bell saying shame, shame, shame.
Shame, shame. Yeah. I mean, a few other players, the winning team, I mean, other candidates who could have taken it. Baggio 10 had 3 catches all on his own, as did Cranky Day.
Wow.
I mean, between those 2 players, there were 6 catches on hitmakers.
That's been that game was literally just so banana.
Yeah.
Super impressive. And to see it swing, like let's flick, if it's gonna allow me, let's just in real time, let's just wordlessly flick through this, as it were, because well, not wordlessly, but just seeing how that game evolves. You can see hitmakers falling, and then all of a sudden it swings back, then back to parity, and then it's over. It's absolutely astounding, that game. Really to and fro.
Yeah.
And no wonder it took longer than the week, Al, because that was an absolute belter. Well, I guess it's time to go on to Court 2 now and see if Good Throwmans and To Catch a Mockingbird can kind of match that. So Wet Yeti captaining Good Throwmans and Rip captaining To Catch a Mockingbird. It's got Ninja Nin, Slavic, Rolling Palm, Mikawak, Aldedan, Bad Wolf, Polites, Tuna Slap, Daily, Starmark, Osmosis, Brent, and Cyberduck all on deck. And when we get to the races, it's Mikawak, Rolling Palm, Ninja Nin, and Bad Wolf for Good Throwmans who've taken a ball. To Catch a Mockingbird's Tuna Slap, Rip, and Cyberduck are all in possession. Now, a couple of interesting things here. We've got Bad Wolf and Cyberduck facing off against each other. That's a battle just not on this court, but also in their household. And we've also got Welcome Older Dan to Dodgeball. Older Dan, famously, Al, used by Osmosis Brent as a fall guy for whenever he has to play Alderin. And yet here we are. Osmosis Brent might actually have to face Alder Dan himself. Would that mean that he would use Alderin as his fall guy? Because that doesn't seem like such a good idea. And I think, in fact, if you go to that thread, I didn't have as much time to go through all the Facebook threads, but I'm pretty certain that Osmosis Brent did, in fact, do that and used a game loss against Alderin to pretend that he threw at Alder Dan. I don't think that worked out for him very well. So after the races, we're going to go straight to move 11. We've got a couple of hits here, one for each side. Roland Parr knocked out by Polites straight out the gates. and then we've got Ninjanin and Darmok trading a game, while Wet Yeti takes out Tuna Slap on his first throw of the match. And then we've got balls in the air from Mikawak, Polites, Starmark, Rip, and Cyberduck. So good throwman's the subject of 4 of those throws. And let's see how that turns out for them. Well, there's a lot of death, for sure. So after Wet Yeti's taken out Tuna Slap, Slavic is eliminated by Starmark. Wet Yeti strikes again, leading like a captain, taking out Starmark, saying, no thank you, you don't take out my team. Cyberduck, though, takes out Mikawak, as Mikawak takes out Daily. So it's 3 down on each side. We've got Aldedan at Osmosis Brent, love to see it. Starmark throwing at Ninjanin, Bad Wolf throwing at her partner Cyberduck. Rip, therefore, throwing a Bad Wolf to try and make that exchange a good one. And as we move through, we can see that Bad Wolf was in fact eliminated by Rip. Ninjanin taken out by Polites. And we've gone backwards again. Fantastic. There we go. And Polites taken out by Wet Yeti, who strikes yet again. It's 2-on-3. Aldedan still out at Osmosis Brent. Osmosis Brent clearly a little petrified that he's going to get Alderand. And Bad Wolf's throw at Cyberduck still in the air. Meanwhile, Rip has thrown at Wet Yeti to try and even the score. Aldedan still standing there. Wet Yeti does in fact get taken out by Rip, and his throw back, presumably a zombie ball at Rip, allows Rip to revive Tuna Slap. And it's 4 hungry birds, all with 1 lone Aldedan, and Bad Wolf is still out with the ball on Cyberduck, who at this stage got to be worrying for his life around that household. And I don't know, it's whether my visual keeps flickering. Cyberduck, though, does get taken out by Bad Wolf. Aldedan defeated by Osmosis Brent there with a throw, and Aldedan taking out Tuna Slap. So the game ends with Osmosis Brent and Rip, the unlikely victors, against a good throwmans who started off very strongly, taking out Tit for Tat, but didn't quite make the cut. And Aldedan, rookie, strongest throwmans on the pitch, ends up being the last one standing before being obliterated, cruelly, some might say, by Osmosis Brent. Not only the full guy, Al, for his Alderan games, but also the full guy in his actual game.
Oh.
So how do we rate that game in terms of the MVP, Al? Let's throw some stuff.
I have to say it was a pretty even sort of distribution of stats on the. We'll put in really solid performances, and it isn't easy to compare it to the previous game where people were just racking up stats like crazy. With that said, I'm gonna go with Captain Rip for the MVP.
Nice.
He had 2 hits, he had 1 catch, and he had a 100% win percentage.
Very good.
So he was 4 for 4 in his games. He was 2 for 2 on his hits, and 1 for 1 on his catch, and he won his race. Just 4 games, 4 wins, 3 eliminations. Uh-oh. Did you break something?
I'm trying to fix you not coming through my. Try that again.
Can you hear me?
Nope, that's a bad. Okay, you're just gonna.
All right.
You're coming through my PC speakers, but it's not. I guess it's manageable. It was just a little off-putting, but that's fine. Everything's fine here now. So Captain Rip there.
Captain Rip.
Multi-ball run.
Oh, you just made me have hella echo.
Hopefully he doesn't have echo anymore, Guianos.
Maybe.
I think it's fine. You sound fine to me, and when you've got echo, you definitely sound echoey.
Well, that's the important part. As long as I sound fine to you, I don't really care about the rest of the audience.
No, it's fine. Okay, cool. Quarter 3, then we'll move on to arguably 2 of the finest logos. We've got Catchup Tails Agent C13 bringing his horde of Hero Realms players and trying to snag all of them at one go against Tatiana's Hit of the Baskervilles. He started with SilentAl, she started with Seabus Ripper. Then we've got Double Dubs, Super Grandma, Clever Missy, Poop Deck Lady Stacy, followed by Guianos, J Dodds, Nautical Stew, Dakaran, and Drew the Rat. So, interesting lineup there, Al.
Yeah.
And let's see how this goes. Well, the races go firmly in the favor of Baskervilles. Poop Deck and SilentAl winning their races for Catcherberry. But Dakaran, Seabus, Nautical Stew, Tatiana, and Drew the Rat taking 5 of the race balls to give ball advantage to the doggos. We can see here that essentially this was a pretty straightforward game, Al. Poop Deck fell first, followed by Lady Stacy. There was a couple of throws in between Double Dubs and Guianos Simon there, but Super Grandma next fell to the hand of Nautical Stew before you and Stew traded a ball. No, you and J Dodds traded a ball. And then Seabus tried to get on the page with Agent C13 and Dakaran and Clever Missy, but Clever Missy was then downed by Nautical Stew striking again. Double Dubs down by Drew the Rat. And then SilentAl, your good self, falling to the hand of the tournament specialist Nautical Stew, while Agent C13, the last man down captain, is killed by yet another Hero Realms player, J Dodds. So, I mean, on paper, Al, that looks like they did a real number on you.
Oh, totally. So, and not to make any excuses because Tatiana's team is really, really good. But I was having some health issues that week, and my mind, I was having some health issues, I was having some trouble at work, and I was not concentrating as much as I should have been on Dodgeball. Obviously, my priorities were way out of whack.
Clearly. I mean, how could you prioritize your health over Dodgeball? This is outrageous.
I don't know, because, my health is so rough. Fortunately, I don't think you can see it on the camera, but I literally have scars on my face from my health problems.
Oh my goodness.
So if you really want to zoom in, you can see I have this here on my face, these red, yeah. So, anyway.
The SilentAl almost died, but still played Dodgeball. That's the headline, right?
Listen, and that's not even the worst I've been playing Dodgeball. A few seasons ago, a few years ago, playing Dodgeball, I was literally in a hospital bed playing. I remember playing against Ninja Nin.
From a hospital bed. That's been...
Yeah, literally, I hurt my back. I was in a hospital bed on an IV drip of painkillers, and I played Ninja Nin and somehow caught him, and then had to have my team post it for me. And I had to take a screenshot because I was so high on painkillers, I couldn't even post or be trusted with that.
I think Yeti suggesting that you weren't ill, they were Dodgeball welts from actually, they hit you so hard.
Could have been.
They hit you through the app.
They hit me so hard, yeah. It's Dodgeball welts. I'll tell my doctor that's what it was next time.
I'm sure he'll be understanding.
So it just goes to show you any excuse other people have for not playing Dodgeball, I'm not hearing it. But yeah, I mean, this is just an example of why I shouldn't be drafted first. I am always on risk of being going on injured reserve.
And with all that said and done, Alan.
But no, with that said, Tatiana's team was very, very good, very, very efficient. And I'm not trying to make excuses. It was just, it seemed like I was dealing with all this other stuff, and suddenly our Dodgeball game was done. And I was looking around, I was like, what happened?
I've had games like that before. I think we all have, but
oh yeah,
it certainly does happen.
And so we might agree with the first game. It's sort of like when you're making pancakes, the first pancake, you just sort of like you throw out. It's no good. Yeah, it's the next one. So it's the same thing. It's just the first game you throw out and you move on.
All right. So, without any bias, obviously, Al, who's your MVP for this game?
Me. Let me show you the welts on my face again. No. The MVP for Baskervilles is going to be Nautical Stew. He had 3 hits all on his own, and he had a 100% win rate. He was 4 for 4 in games.
Fantastic. So hang on.
He actually
did he just
it
race
was
and
4
then
for
threw
4
3 balls and that was it? Is that all he did?
and 3 hits. It was like I said, her team is extremely efficient, and that man was extremely efficient. I only have to play 4 games. Done. Win the race. Hit 3 people. Let's pack it in. Let's go watch Court 1 for a week.
I'd be surprised if Court 1 was even on like their 7th throw of that game. Then wow.
Yeah.
Oh dear me. Well, congratulations to Nautical Stew for a well-earned MVP, and we're going to move now to Court 4. That brings captains Corey Bear and Chasmo of Brave New World and Crayman Punishment up against each other with their drafts of Cisco Alvarez, Connor, Hypaspist, Zim, 108, Bathoris, and Riska, and Alderin, not Aldedan, October, Markbot 3000, Cornatius, a rookie, Sir Thestral, and the Binkinator himself, Darth Binkley. As we move to the races, we can see that Corey Bear, Bathoris, Hypaspist, and Connor take balls for Crime and Punishment, and Chasmo, I think, Markbot and Cornatius have their race balls won. Chasmo and Connor apparently already having thrown when this particular thing was taken. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I guess it was fastest ball. I know I was sleeping for a lot of my race, so my race came in last. Not unheard of. But we're going to wind forward, and we're going to go through a particularly lethal period of this game. We're going to go kind of 6 throws past the races and almost a death every throw. So we have Riska taken out by Cornatius, followed by Binks taken out by Connor, Sir Thestral taken out by me, Bathoris taken out by Chasmo, Zim 108 taken out by Markbot 3000, and Corey Bear taking out Alderin. Literally an almost tit for tat, Al, as like one side loses one, then the other side loses one, then the other side loses one. Just a bloodbath in the early throws of this game. And it's 4-on-4. And as we go forward, now we go through like a dry patch where literally nothing exciting happens. Chasmo and Connor trade a couple balls. You've got Cornatius and Chasmo and Corey Bear and myself all getting involved. October and Bathoris have a bit of a battle between each other. Just nothing happening until a flurry of activity as Markbot's deleted by Connor, unable to get Connor on the zombie ball, and then Corey Bear takes out October with Chasmo and Corey Bear trading a throw each, missing each other. So it's 4-on-2, and if you're Captain Corey Bear, you're probably feeling pretty good about now. It's the rookie Cornatius and Chasmo left. I've got to throw out at Cornatius. Corey Bear's got to throw out at Chasmo. Those 2 balls hit home. Game over, and donuts for everyone. Well, that's not what happened. Corey Bear was deleted by Chasmo as Cornatius and I failed to make anything happen, but Binkley was revived when Chasmo caught Corey Bear's other ball, and Cornatius couldn't take me out. So now it's 3-on-3, slightly less likely that this is going to end in a Brave New World landslide. Going forward again, now we've got Cisco Alvarez knocked out by Chasmo, Cornatius getting beaten down by myself, but Chasmo revives Sir Thestral from a catch on Cisco Alvarez, and Binkley then takes out Connor, and oh boy, I'm left on my own in front of 3 hungry donatistas, Darth Binkley, Chasmo, and Sir Thestral. Not looking great, if I'm being honest, Al. Sir Thestral's got a throw out at me, Connor's got a throw out at Darth Binkley and at Chasmo, and Binks and Chasmo holding the other ball. So if Sir Thestral hits me, game over. We'll see what happens. I'm holding 2 balls, though, so I can take 2 people with me. And if Connor can take out Chasmo, maybe something happens. Well, Chasmo does in fact get hit by Connor, but he can't hit Binks with the other ball, and then Chasmo knocks me out, and I, not to sound sad, but I had a bout, and Chasmo was the one who pointed it out. Actually, I had about an average hand of 10 damage, and would you like to guess what I top decked, Al? It was.
I'm gonna guess a scout.
It was definitely 4 of those and 1 Alliance transport, which doesn't do you any favors. So Chasmo knocked me straight into the benches, and then I had to decide before I took. I was sat staring at those scouts and Alliance for a good little while as I tried to work out with my team which of my balls at Silentastral and Darth Binkley was least likely to hit, and therefore who I needed to spend the 3rd ball on to try and take this to overtime, because I was going to be dead. So I threw at Binkley for the 2nd time. And magic sometimes can happen, because what happened here was I actually did hit Silentastral with that ball, and I did miss Binkley with the 1st ball, but I got him with the 2nd one, and all of a sudden, it's a race-off. So, just to go back here, we've gone from 4-all down to 4-2, to 3-all, to 3-1, to 2-0, and then to a tie. So it's a pretty gripping game all in all. But as we went to the races, it really was just like Cisco won the first game and we're like, yes, you beauty, get in there. We're up 1, and then the results just came in, and it was Markbot, Chasmo, Cornatius, and October, and at that point it's 4-1, it's game over. So that's kind of what happened. The game between Corey Baron Alderin and Hypaspist and Silentastral, very moot, as the race had already been won. So our first race off of the season now, into overtime, and Crame and Punishment take it in a fairly convincing fashion. I think both Silentastral and Alderin would go on to win their races and make it an absolute landslide race victory in the race off. So congrats to them. Why don't you tell us who the MVP is, Al? Because this game was wild.
I'm going to go with another captain. I'm going to go with Desmond.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty good game.
He had 3 hits, he had 3 catches, and he won both of his races.
Nice, yeah.
He also had a ridiculous 73% win percentage. He won 11 of his 15 games.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
And Chasmo in chat actually just saying this would have been the wildest match if the Wicked Court one hadn't happened.
Yeah.
And played 4 whole matches by themselves. It's not wrong. Yeah, so congrats to Chasmo. Captain Chasmo leading his team to victory with 3 hits and 3 catches, which is bananas. On to Court 5. We've got the Catcher and the Spry. Oh, sorry?
Oh, no, I was saying let's go to Court 5.
Oh, okay, yeah, I thought you had something more to say. We've got Catcher and the Spry versus the Great Catchby. That's Dion Lunsford and Mkolo with their cohorts of Darklighter, Agent Sato, Yarboa, CJK Flyer, PC Load Letter, and Sarah T, and 1 Carlos Lux 16, VQ, Sabella, Zwivix, and Taraziel. And actually, I forgot one bit of T, and Chasmo would be very sad if I didn't mention it. And it's funny because in the game that Binks and I were having, apparently he was trying to share a screenshot with his team, either to brag or to get advice. I don't know which. But their chat was so lit at the time, apparently, he couldn't get a clear shot of his screen because Facebook Messenger kept popping up and pinging. And he got to the point where he was like, would you all just shut up? I need to take a picture. Like, calm yourselves down so I can show you the game state. Should have been in the T section, but it's here now. Anyway, I mentioned that only because as I saw Lux 16's name, I was like, Binkley, I have a solution for you, and I think Lux might know what to do. Anyway, as the races end, Taraziel winning the race for ball 3 puts balls in the hands of Zwivix, Mkolo, Taraziel, 1 Carlos, and VQ for the Great Catchby, with CJK Flyer and Darklighter being the sole catches in the Spry with a race ball. So winding forwards to Again, another absolutely brutal game. Sarah T falls at the hands of Mkolo immediately before Sabella falls to CJK Flyer and Zwivix falls to Yarboa. One Carl is getting some revenge there as he takes out Jason, the Ass Clan himself, PC Load Letter, and VQ taking Mr. Librarian himself, one of your good compatriots, Al Agent Sato, for a long walk down one of the aisles to rebrand some books. Darklighter taking out VQ as her reward, who is then taken out by a zombie ball by VQ, whose zombie ball Darklighters then takes out Mkolo, while Tyraziel takes out CJK Flyer. And then it's just a few left, with one Carlos being hit by Yarboa, Lux being hit by, I think, CJK. No, it's Yarboa again. And then Sarah T being revived as Dion Lunsford, catches one Carlos's ball to just improve the breakers by just a little bit at the end there. So Tyraziel was the last man standing, but alas, couldn't hold on. Whoop! As a few more throws later, and a lot of ball exchange between him and Dion Lunsford, he's knocked out, and PC Load Letter is revived as all of his zombie balls go to waste. So a pretty solid victory by Dion's team, capturing the spy after a kind of a shaky start with the races. They really brought it back there, Al.
Oh yeah.
So
it's hard because that was a good game too, but because we had two other just absolute barn burners,
right?
It's like by comparison.
Like this would usually be a solid game, lots of deaths, some catching, some reviving. Like that's
Yeah.
an average game of dodgeball, right? Probably
Right.
on the better side. Pretty quick, nice and neat, done quickly. But it's not 92 moves. So
Right.
yeah, it's hard to compare.
92 moves, a race off, nothing. You know, it's just a good game of dodgeball.
Just a regular, good old fashioned game of dodgeball. So who's your MVP on this one though? Because I see Dion's got 3 balls at the end. Is that indicative?
I mean, Dion had a good game, but I believe the reigning Kovacon champion Yarboa had a great game.
Oh yeah, she's pretty hot to trot that one. She's pretty mean.
She had 2 hits, 2 catches, and a 75% win percentage for the game in total.
That's really good.
Or for the match in total.
Yeah.
So
solid.
Honestly, like that stat line would usually win you the MVP of the week.
Yes.
I say usually because spoiler, Yarbs isn't getting it this week.
There were a couple of performances maybe that were a bit higher up there.
Yeah.
So that was the final court action, Al. So let's go to how the teams stand as we go into round 2. So we've got Hit of the Baskervilles coming up with their clean sweep with 1 win and 7 on the breakers. Catcher and the Spry coming up with 4, as do Hitmaker's Guide to the Ball at Sea, just ahead of Catch a Mockingbird on 2 breakers, and Creme and Punishment due to going down to a race-off and having all their donuts knocked down. A win, but no breakers for them, so bottom of the winning heap there. Brand New World leading the losing team's sides due to them going to the race-off and having eliminated all of their opponents. Good Throwmans then on 5, Great Catchby on 3, Fellowship of the Ring of the Fling on 3, and Murder on the Dodgeball Express, despite not playing at all, not bottom, because the Catcherbury Tales have played a game and still have the same breakers as them. So I'm sorry to say it, Al, I didn't put you there. This is what the spreadsheet said. I'm sorry.
Well, apparently the spreadsheet said it, but Cranky Day thinks they should be higher up.
I mean, maybe, but the only sorts were by wins then breakers, not wins then losses then breakers. So I may have made some choices. Yeah. I don't know. Really, what the heck, Grandma? Grandma outraged by being at the bottom. Yellow should be in the middle. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it should be, maybe it shouldn't be, but that's where they are. If that's your worst complaint about this stream tonight, Adam, then frankly, I'm astounded. And so on, it comes to the weekly awards. We've got a couple to give out, haven't we? We've got the player of the round, the best performing player.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the MVPs can only come from the winning side in each match, whereas the player of the round, everyone's eligible. And then we've got a Moneyball award as well. Where do those go this
So MVP of the round, I was tempted to give it to BPB for just 6 hits. I mean, that's like taking out nearly an entire team.
Right.
However, I went with Chasmo.
Really hard to argue with that because he also had 6 eliminations, but 3 of them were catches.
He also had 6 eliminations, and 3 of them were hits, and 3 of them are catches. And I tend to weight catch a little bit higher than hits. They're just because they're tougher to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
The differential is higher. You're not picking the format, so yeah, I had to give it to Chasmo for his 3 hits, 3 catches, perfect race wins. Yeah, Chasmo MVP of the round.
Yeah, congrats Chasmo. And congrats BPB as well. Like 6 hits and 100% on offense is really, really good.
Here's the thing is, BPB could have, any other week could have won it. Yarbs any other week could have easily won MVP. It was that we had some really great performances first week.
Absolutely. And so that leaves us with Moneyballer. And for those who, if they're tuning in, probably won't again, who've never seen the show, just to reiterate what Moneyball Award is, it's for the person bringing the best value compared to their draft position to the board. So it's not necessarily the most stunning performance of the round, but it's certainly the most stunning performance of the round given where they were drafted. So someone drafted round 1, obviously, they're going to do the business every week. You expect them to. That's why you pick them first. But, in rounds 4, 5, 6, sometimes people just have a great week, right? And I think that happened this week, didn't it, Al?
Right. Yeah. We have to give it to Baggio 10. He was drafted in the final round as per tradition.
As per tradition, yeah.
And that man got 3 catches all on his own.
And catches are hard, right?
And catches are hard.
Any old fool can hit, but catching is more difficult, which is why
there are plenty of us who never get 3 catches. Like, so many of us can't even get 3 catches in a whole season.
Yeah.
He got 3 of them in one game, and he's drafted in the final round. Like, to get that kind of production out of that late round of a pick, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So congrats to Bagsman winning the Moneyball Award, and congrats to Chasmo scooping the player of the round. We'll be back next time, hopefully with less technical. Like, this is literally the worst technical. It's 11 seasons of Dodgeball, and probably 5 or 6 of doing that, and we still apparently recidivistically not learning in the worst way. So I will try and get it back next time without any technical difficulties. Hopefully my D drive won't disappear before the show next week, or next time. But we'll see. Let us know, like, afterwards or in the stream comments or whatever, like how the visuals have worked for you this time. If you enjoyed having more slides and talking through that, or whether you preferred less. That's always interesting to hear and be great to understand. So actually quite a short but for how much longer I thought this was going to be, Al, and how much time you spent staring at me failing to do the things correctly. Actually, a pretty decent time on the stream, like in terms of the length.
Listen, we have more technical problems. I have a whole room in my house devoted to board games that I can bullshit about for hours if we need it while you fix OBS Ninja.
Well, I'll spend some lost D drive but gained a moustache. Yes, definitely a worthwhile trade. My wife, if this doesn't go by Christmas, my wife's going to be, she's smoking in the background. She's probably not even going to be talking to me, but I don't think this is, enjoy this while you can, Tats. I don't think this is going to be around for very long, just so you know. So thanks for watching the epic log, or the epilogue, because the CV is silent, just like our experience. And Al is the question mark or the space bar to my exclamation point. And I thought I'd come up with a good theme for this year, but Cranky Day once again absolutely blew me away with this one. And again, just I know someone was like, "Oh, is Cranky going to be on the mic this week?" Because Ryan tagged him in the show. It's like, no, I just want to make sure that everyone gives Cranky the acknowledgement, because he's very much the man behind the scenes who makes all of this work, and we're just the goobers who come up here and say words that come out of our mouth. Like, Frankie does all of the hard work in the background, and we do our best to try and mess it up.
Cranky is the organ grinder. We are the monkeys wearing vests, like dancing.
And even that might be overselling our contribution.
Yeah.
So anyway, take care. I hope your round 2 goes very well, everyone, if it's not already over. Spoilers, mine is. I will see you next time for more epilogue. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him.
Bye.